Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. So it's gonna be another bed review because, well, that's just what time I got home, and after finished watching the episode and everything else, it's a little late. So I apologize for the video coming out so late. Throughout the rest of the week, it's gonna be business as usual, as long as there's no more interruptions. So let's get into it. Just going to my notes real quick. Okay, so Mac is still asking TJ more questions and stuff like that. He gives him a lot more details. He talks about when he was being held captive, he heard like men, like I guess like men above him or whatever. He heard one of the kidnappers had a, I guess, a southern accent, um, and just some other helpful clues and stuff like that, as far as like pinpointing where where he was actually kidnapped, which is not really good for Jordan, because when he seemed like he was really excited, Max seemed like he was really excited. He walked into Jordan's office and he was like, listen, I got a really good lead on where TJ was kidnapped. And you can just see Jordan's like, oh, that's great. Yeah, no, that's good. You know what? Just forward me the information, and we'll go and check it out. And Mac's like, all right, bye. And Jordan's like, shit. Um, Curtis is just like, listen, Jordan's like, oh man, I wonder what's gonna happen if Cyrus, if TJ remembers who kidnapped him. And Curtis is just like, you need to sit there and wonder what is Cyrus gonna do if he finds out that TJ knows who kidnapped him. Molly, maybe it's just me, maybe it's the guy in me, or just in general. Molly really needs to stop treating Brando like he's her dirty little secret or something. So Brando's in he's in the bar or whatever, and Molly's just standing there looking like, oh man, did does everyone know? Does everyone know that I slept with him? So Brando walks out and Molly's like, what are you doing? Brando's like, what the hell are you talking? What do you mean, what am I doing? I just went to go get some lunch. You're talking to my sister. Did you tell them that we slept together? I want you to think about this for a minute. She just said, did you tell my sisters that we slept together? Why would he actually do that? I mean, from your encounter, he seemed like he was a very stand-up kind of guy. You wouldn't have just took home anybody. He seemed like he was a pretty stand-up guy, and throughout the episode, she talks about how, he didn't sit there and try to take advantage of her. He was a really good guy. So why the hell would he just blurt out, oh yeah, by the way, me and your sister, well, me and your sister, we had sex. Oh no, I know you didn't ask for it. I just figured I'd just, let you in on it. So to be honest, that just made no damn sense. And he was like, no, I didn't tell anyone. And then she was like, I'm sorry or whatever. And then she talks about how I love my boyfriend, this, that, and the third, and it's not your fault, and blah, 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 blah. By the way, this episode had a lot of flashbacks. Holy I get why they're doing it, because they probably don't have that much footage, but it's just like, ooh, it's starting to get kind of painful. It's like I already went through this. I almost felt like fast forwarding through some of the flashbacks. That's how much flashbacks there were. So after Molly talks to Brando or whatever, she goes into Charlie's, and she meets her sisters, and she's all like, me and TJ are gonna be domestic partners or whatever. And they were just like, what the hell? What? And it was like, what is that? And, she pretty much explains, oh, we're gonna have all the benefits of marriage without that draconia, blah, 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 blah. It just went into SJW territory. So I just kind of was like, all right, yeah, we get it, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I have no problem with equal rights or anything like that, obviously. But she takes the feminist aspect to 11. Like, she takes it to 11. I honestly tell you the truth, I feel like it gets to a point where she gets to be so feminist that it probably annoys other women. That's just me. That's just, like, I feel like that has to be. Let me pause it for a second. So yeah, after she tells them that they're gonna be moving in together, domestic partners, all that stuff, then she somehow gets into the conversation of, she cheated. She tells her sisters that she cheated on TJ. So the whole, lecturing Brando about not saying anything, she just went and just did it anyway. She just told him herself. Like, okay, wow. So then, she talks about how, she cheated on TJ and she didn't know, and, she didn't know that TJ dumped, she didn't know that TJ didn't dump her. And, her sisters are just, here's the thing, there's a fine line between supporting your loved ones and placating to them. And, I mean, let's be honest, they really should have told her the truth. They really should have been like, yo, what you did was pretty messed up. The dude wasn't like, he was gone for like what, a couple of days max? Like, you should have, you've been with him for like over 10 years. You should have gave him the benefit of the doubt. You shouldn't just went out and just cheated on him. But no, they don't do that. They're just like, oh, you didn't know, and blah, 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 and it's not your fault, and, and then she gets into the conversation where she's like, oh yeah, by the way, you know that guy that just came in here? Brando Corbin? Yeah, I had sex with him. Because, okay, now I remember what wound up happening. So Molly was talking to Brando outside of Charlie's. And Sam just walks outside. She's like, oh yeah, I saw y'all two standing there, so I want to know what's going on. What? Didn't you just meet this dude like not that long ago? And granted, you said he was a jerk or whatever, but he was apologetic. So why is she walking up to him, acting all super protective like he was gonna do something to her? It made no sense. They're outside sitting there talking. It's not like she is yelling or anything like that. She's just basically sitting there saying that, what we did was a mistake, and I love my boyfriend and stuff like that. And then Sam just walks outside, crosses her arms, and was all like, I saw y'all standing there talking. So what's going on? What is she, 12 years old? Like, I just. So yeah, she tells Sam and Christina that they had sex and stuff like that, and that was pretty much, honestly, tell you the truth, at that, because here's the thing, at one point she's sitting there talking about how she hooked up with this guy, whatever, and Christina's like, oh, well, great for you. Really? Great for her that she cheated on her boyfriend and that he didn't actually dump her? Like, and now she's carrying all that guilt? You literally just said, great for her. Sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, the lines in this show either just makes no sense or you just have too many fucking, like, cooks in the fucking kitchen, because I feel like sometimes there's just certain things that's supposed to happen that don't happen, like, Charlotte and the snake incident. How all the kids are supposed to pull the string and the snake was supposed to fall on one of them. But instead, Charlotte's getting all worried, talking about, getting all worried thinking that one of the snakes is going to fall on the other children, and it winds up being in Ava's purse. It's like, who wrote that? Like, how many people, I mean, I know that they have different writers, but I mean, it literally made no sense. And that's how I felt like Christina's line was, oh, well, congrats for you, for, sampling other guys or whatever. I'm like, yeah, because that's what she wants to hear. You can clearly see that she is distraught and, feeling guilty about that. and that's your answer. And even Sam was like, yeah, that might be your solution, but that's not how Molly sees it. And you're her sister. You should know. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much where it ends. She tells her sisters, hey, listen, it was Brando that I hooked up with. So, let's go to Lulu, Laura, and Cyrus. So they're talking, and you can tell it's pretty tense because, Cyrus is like, listen, I want to donate to your campaign. Laura's like, I'm good on that. Why don't you donate to, the hospitals, the rehab hospitals? All the people go after the drugs that they're hooked on. Or why don't you donate to the schools? The after school programs to keep the kids off the streets. So they won't get their hands on any drugs. I mean, she was just so blatantly obvious with that shit. It was like, and I'm not gonna lie, they kind of talked about some stuff that happened yesterday, um, or happened Thursday. Um, but yeah, and then towards the end of the conversation, um, at first, I don't exactly really remember. I just remember that Cyrus got a call. It was from Sunny, and Cyrus was like, "Listen, I'm gonna get ready to head out or whatever, but don't worry, Laura, I'll be seeing you very soon." Then he walks off. Now, Laura's like, am I paranoid or was that a threat? I mean, the dude literally said, well, don't worry. We'll be able to catch up soon. Because I think the interview was going, and I don't remember who said they had to leave. I think it was Laura, I think Laura tried to excuse herself and, to finish the interview up or whatever. And Cyrus was like, no, stay. I think this would be really good and entertaining towards, your fans and stuff like that for your news piece. One sec. And Lou was like, nah, I decide when what's entertaining or not. And Cyrus was like, oh, okay. And I think that's when Cyrus got the call and he was like, listen, I'm gonna head out. I got some stuff to take care of, but don't worry, Laura. I'll be seeing you real soon. So Laura's like, well, that sounded like a threat. And Lulu's like, yep, that was definitely a threat. And then Lulu gets a call from, I guess, Diane. Diane tells Lulu, hey, listen, the custody hearing is good and Valentine isn't going to fight it. Lulu's like, well, you know what, let's just do family court anyway, just in case. Lulu hangs up the phone and, she tells Laura, and Laura's like, oh yeah, I remember back to when Valentine was like, I'm a bad parent, and I'm not gonna fight the custody battle. Now, Laura's like, listen, normally I would sit there and not trust Valentine, but on this one, I'm gonna take his word for it. And Lulu was all like, what do you mean you're gonna take his word for it? I mean, why should we trust him? It was like, take the fucking win. Like, what is your issue? Even later on, she was like, why would Valentine not fight it? And I guess Laura kind of was more along the lines of, well, I guess he's doing what's best for Charlotte. And she was still just like, well, I'm going to fight it anyway because I don't trust him. I'm like, what the fuck is your problem? Listen, here's the thing. I get it. You have bad blood with Valentine. Okay? You don't like Valentine. Valentine doesn't like you. I totally fucking get it. But a win is a win. And why make a bigger issue than what it needs to be? I just... Ugh. So Curtis tells Jordan after Mac leaves, to follow up on TJ's abduction. Curtis like, listen, Cyrus seems to trust you. At the very least, he lets down his guard. So why don't you just use that towards your advantage? I forgot to add that in because I guess maybe Jordan is going to kind of like try to turn the tables on him, gain his trust and stuff like that. We'll see how that goes. So Alexis and Neil still talk, and Neil blames himself, and he also blames Alexis a little bit. Because Alexis is like, so are you mad at yourself? Are you mad at me? And Neil's like both. And Alexis is like, okay, what does that mean? You know? I mean, I know Neil blames himself, but it's like, why do you blame Alexis? And honestly, to tell you the truth, Alexis is just there saying, so what does that mean? What are you trying to say? What's going on? And Neil's not really saying anything. And I'm like, okay, why don't you actually explain it? But then Alexis get a call, and she tells Neil that it's from the bar association and that they want to speak to her pronto, which means is because she lied on the oath during Neil's trial. I mean during Neil's hearing. It ain't good. She's in trouble. That's exactly what the fuck that means. That means that she is in trouble. Um. Oh, one quick thing. So TJ went to go pick up Molly's car. TJ goes to Brando's shop and he's like, "Hey, listen, I'm coming here to pick up Molly Davis's car." And Brando is so distracted by the fact that he's like, "Oh shit, her boyfriend's here. This ain't good." Brando's like, "Okay, you know what? Here you go. Just sign the papers and you're good to go." And TJ's like, so you're just gonna take my word for it? I mean, you're not even gonna ask for like any sort of identification or anything like that. What's going on? I mean, this isn't making any sense. And Brando's like, oh shit. Yeah, you know what? Your license is good. Okay, all right. Everything's good. Live together. All right, cool. Here's your car. Have a good day. And then TJ looks at the paper. He's like, yeah, there's something not right about this. Now, I guess, I mean, granted, that's where the scene ends, and my guess is that Brando probably gave her a huge discount off of her work, off of her repair. Um, that's my guess because he was just like, "What the hell is going on?" Oh, so one last thing before I go. This is about the meeting. So, when Cyrus got a call at the Metro Court, he went to meet Sonny. So I was like, listen, um, you didn't show up to the meeting last night, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of took that as a bit of disrespect. Now, they're talking a little bit, and, you know, Sonny's like, well, listen, we're here for the meeting, let's do this meeting now. And by the way, I'm gonna be the one that's gonna be sitting there talking about, um, you know, I'm the one that's gonna be sitting there running this meeting pretty much. Now, Cyrus brings his bodyguard, Sonny brings Jason. The Cyrus bodyguard starts to walk up on Sonny, and Sonny was like, "Yo, bro, you better tell your man to back up, back up off me, bro, back up off me." So Cyrus is like, "No, it's cool, it's cool." Here's the thing: when Sonny was sitting there talking, and Sonny is one of my favorite characters besides Jason. But here's the thing about Sonny during this meeting is that the arrogance knows no bounds with him. Um, they're talking a little bit, and Cyrus brings up the fact that it's like, yo, so, if the roles were reversed, how would you feel? And Sonny's like, listen, if it was something that, something that wasn't a big deal, I would have been like, I'm good, don't worry about it. And Cyrus was like, oh, you didn't make it because of your dad. And Sonny was like, bro, keep my dad out of your mouth, pretty much. He was like, yo, we here for business. Let's talk about business. Now they talk for a little bit. And, Sonny is just like, listen, we're going to talk about business, but I'm the one that's going to be doing the talking. I'm like, wow, bro. Listen, I get that you like to think that you are king of Port Charles. That you have an image and, you can't have any sign of weaknesses and stuff like that. You can't show any weakness. but I mean, it's a meeting, B. Like, there's a give and take relationship. And, if you. So here's the thing about Cyrus. Cyrus is just playing it cool. Cyrus is like, okay, so this is how this meeting's gonna go. You're gonna be fully arrogant and probably not listen to anything that I say, and just feel that you're gonna do what you want to do, and I'm just gonna sit there and just beg for scraps or something like that. This is the way that Sonny approached this whole meeting from jump. He walked in there, he was like, ugh, like he had better things to do, and then just like, oh, you know what? Let's just get this shit over with. Like, Cyrus doesn't have anything else to do, you know? Um, and that's pretty much how that whole meeting went. It was just really, you know, it was somewhat, I wouldn't sit there and say it was tense, because Cyrus was just playing the cool. And he was just looking at Sonny like, all right, so I see how you're going to sit there and play this. Sonny's like, well, I'm running the show, pretty much, kind of an arrogant attitude. And there's probably going to be more about this meeting tomorrow, because I don't think the meeting is actually done yet. So, I mean, there was some other minor stuff, but a lot of the stuff that was minor was stuff that was carried over from Thursday. Sonny talking about Mike. Oh, and by the way, it's something called palpable care, which isn't like, it isn't like hospice, but it's something like in the middle, if that makes any sense. Now, the reason why again I bring this up is because, you know, Carly's like, maybe you should think about doing doing a DNR. Sonny's like, yo, listen, I don't think we're there yet, And Sonny's like, listen, as long as he can still talk and you can remember something, he's not totally gone. Carly's like, do you think that he wants to be hooked up to machines and stuff like that? And Sonny's like, listen, so you think they're telling me that I'm just supposed to just let my father just die? Like they're not supposed to sit there and try to do anything to like stop him from, dying and stuff like that. And you can tell. It's one of those things where I felt like Carly should have just been like a little more easier on Sonny, because if the roles were reversed, she wouldn't want to hear anything about a DNR. No one wants to hear anything about a DNR. So I didn't really understand why she pushed so hard about trying to get Sonny to sign his DNR and things of that nature. And again, it was just more stuff from yesterday, so I didn't really want to talk about too much of stuff for her. I'm talking about it. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much 1 second. Yeah, Papa, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, that's gonna do it from this review of General Hospital. Again, apologies just coming out so late, which is why I'm laying down, because once I finish doing this, I'm taking my ass to bed. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. All that good stuff. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the comments. I really do. This isn't something that I just say because it's just something to say. I generally do appreciate the comments, and I generally do appreciate the subs and the watches. For any views and stuff like that, I really appreciate it. So thank you. Be safe. All that good stuff. Wash your hands. The rest. So I will see you. Tomorrow's review is going to be coming out like normal, unless there's an interruption. And by the way, if I have Cablevision, so if anyone knows this other channel that it comes on, please let me know. So that way I can actually record it on there, and it doesn't have to come out so late, and I don't have to sit there and watch it on Hulu. So yeah. Have a good day or good night. And when you're watching this, I will see you in the next review.